Welcome to the Language Learners Lounge podcast, where we discuss and learn more about the wonderful world of learning foreign languages. The views, opinions, and suggestions mentioned in today's episode are that of the hosts and guests and do not reflect any actual research unless otherwise mentioned or cited. Thank you for listening and enjoy this week's discussion.
And we are back with another episode of Language Learners Lounge, our second one. This is a new achievement for us today. And some of us have gotten upgraded equipment since our first episode, which is nice, or even just a different setup. So welcome to our second episode today. I'm your host, Kyler Lopez.
And I'm your co-host, Joshua Flood.
He likes to call himself his co-host. He knows he's not the co-host. He knows he's not the co-host.
Yeah.
So welcome to our second episode. Now we get into a lot more of the nitty-gritty discussions of language learning that we, wanted to focus this podcast on. And funny enough, we already have our first topic. We didn't have to decide on this one. This one was actually something that somebody posed to me, kind of indirectly. She knew that this friend who asked me this question actually knew that we were going to be doing, specific topics that we're going to be focused on during this podcast. But I think in the case of this one, I don't think she knew how close we were to actually getting into the specific topics. And so she asked me this question at one point because she is someone who is learning Spanish. And so she asked me, she asked me, how can you tell the difference between masculine or feminine words? Like feminine nouns, masculine and feminine nouns. How do you distinguish the difference between them? Which, I feel like that would be an interesting discussion today. Especially since, there are languages like Italian, French. The most common ones are like Spanish and Portuguese that many people know have the masculine or feminine ones.
Yeah, and then there's also more of the Germanic languages like German and Dutch, and even uh I know Swedish has a couple, though it's a little bit different than the other ones.
Yes, Swedish handles it a little bit differently. I want to say Polish does too, but Polish handles more so like plurals differently than masculine or feminine. I mean, they also
Yeah.
have, masculine or feminine like this and these, this and that, or those and these words in Polish, which I'm still trying to figure out. But, that comes in time. And fun fact, even Hawaiian has masculine or feminine articles or nouns. And that is also another thing I have yet to discover the difference between. Like, I'm not sure if I completely understand yet the masculine or feminine nouns in Hawaiian. I mean, I know how to change the articles from masculine or feminine into plural because the plural ones are universally the same. But singular masculine or feminine nouns in Hawaiian, whew, that's a whole
Yeah.
different journey.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be. I mean, I wouldn't know. I haven't studied Hawaiian yet.
It's it's an interesting journey trying to figure out Hawaiian because much like how Haitian Creole was when I first started learning it, there's hardly any resources. Like, sure, Duolingo has a course for Hawaiian, but I want more of the learning, like the speak learning kind of thing. Duolingo doesn't have many speaking
Yeah.
exercises for Hawaiian.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my Hawaiian learning has been through like Google Translate, learning what a word is, saying it out loud, and trying to write out my own sentence and then say my own sentence, which honestly is actually working more than Duolingo ever could.
Yeah.
A little bit of personal
Thing
bias
is,
there, but
I mean, true, yeah. I will say, yeah, Duolingo is very can help with some things, but it's very, very limited, I would say.
yeah, it is.
I think like the best way to I mean, unless you pay for like some of the higher ones, you have to pay unless you pay for like the higher things, you can't really have any speaking practices.
Ain't nobody
I
got time for
mean,
that.
at least, yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Sure, I take my
Yeah, I ain't
language.
paying.
Sure, I take my language studies seriously, but I don't take it that seriously.
Yeah, I ain't paying. And for that, I have lots of things to pay. I'm a poor college student, dang it.
You see, you got an excuse. My excuse is I've gone almost 2,200 days without the bird coming after my family. I'm fine at this point.
Uh,
As long as I keep the streak going, I'm fine. The bird
yeah,
can come after me any day when I miss that streak, which
yeah.
try to make sure that doesn't happen. I was going full double bond there, like trying to ensure I stay safe. I was going crossing fingers. I knocked on wood. I did everything.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if it's any consolation, I've missed a few days before like a while ago, especially like when that whole marketing thing was is done and I don't know anybody in my family who was taken, so I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Hopefully, hopefully. I mean, you're
Hopefully.
still here, so the bird hasn't come after you yet. So you're still here.
Yeah.
You're still in good hands.
Yeah, don't worry. I can take care of that bird. It'll be my next lunch if it comes after me.
In that case, invite me to the feast.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Sweet, I have an excuse to go out to Idaho now.
Yeah.
But, anyways, so back to the masculine and feminine words. How do we discern the difference? This is probably the one time I actually put like actual research into it because, especially with like Spanish and Portuguese, I've spoken that so often, even French, that I don't really think about it. Like, I don't really think
Yeah.
about what's feminine or what's masculine. It just comes out.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah.
yeah, so it's like, I had a hard time answering that the first time around. So, this is the first time I actually had to do research.
Yeah. That yeah, I think it's not something that we as English speakers normally think about because we don't have our nouns don't really have much in terms of genders, or at least in terms of like how it's used, like the articles.
Hmm.
Because like all we say is like the, a, and an, and that and the is always used, and
Yeah,
the
that one's like
a and
gender
an,
universal.
yeah, and a and an is only it only changes based on if the next word is like a vowel or something.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
really the only thing we worry about with English. I mean, we take a look at what Spanish has. You have the masculine, feminine beginnings, el and la, based on what it is.
yeah,
And
and I mean English does have pronouns, but that's a whole different conversation for another day.
yeah, that's a whole different conversation. Pronouns are a completely different thing. We'll get into what we identify as later. And so,
Yeah.
and so, this was probably one of the first times I actually opened up fact sheets in a while, be it ones from high school or ones from mission days. So I opened up some of the old fact sheets from uh, what our church has. It's a language learning app called Embark.
Mhm.
I personally prefer it over Duolingo, but I took a look at some of the fact sheets because I tried to see what sources could I gather from that would help us discuss this a little bit more. And it's interesting. I gotta pull it up now because they use an interesting like acronym to help you remember like what words are going to be masculine and which words are going to be feminine. And
Mhm.
so, am I on? Nope, I'm on French. This is not good. We're talking about Spanish, not French yet.
Mhm.
We're not talking
Yeah.
about French yet. But first, Spanish. And I remember when I first at like told the friend, how do I recognize it? I usually mention the ending, but I came to terms with the fact that that's not always the case.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But generally there are generally that's how it is, but there are a decent chunk of exceptions.
Yeah,
It, I think for one, like typically generally if it ends in an O, it's masculine. If it ends in an A, it's feminine. But of course there are exceptions, like el mapa, uh, the word for the map,
yeah.
or la mano, which is hand. that's feminine,
Dude, I could
despite
go on
ending
about
in
that
E.
all day if we wanted to.
Yep.
I could go on
There
about
we go.
that one all day. Because
Yep.
that was one of the big things that I was like, you really got to watch for these words because there are always those slight exceptions.
Yep.
Aha, here we go. I found it.
Hmm.
It took a while, but I found it. So, funny enough, I had to find it under the category gender and numbers. So, numbers, not important here. We're worried about gender. All right? We're Do I want to make that joke? I don't
Uh,
I'm not sure if I want to make that joke just yet. Anyway,
yeah.
so so it mentions the difference between masculine and feminine nouns, and it mentions the acronym loners to figure out, masculine nouns. So it mentions any noun that ends with an L, an O, an N, an E, an R, or an S is masculine. Anything else would usually be feminine. So, like, as the exampers,
Examples.
that was English.
I can't English today.
I can't. I can't. We're talking about Spanish, Portuguese, and French. Why in the world does English have to work today?
Fair enough. Por ejemplo. There we go.
El ejemplo. There we go. Why don't I just do that? Anyways, so it mentions the examples for loners. El papel, paper, ends in L, El evangelio, the gospel, that's your O. El plan, that should be self-explanatory. Plan, there's your N. El mensaje, message, there's your E. El amor, love. If you ever know any sort of basic word in Spanish, that should be one of them. And then el mes, there's your S for month.
Mm-hmm.
There's your loners.
Yep.
That sounds so bad. I shouldn't say it like that. Anyways, but then it also mentions, I didn't notice this.
Mm-hmm.
The fact sheet has percentages on it relating to how commonly it shows up in words. So we have the L. So, fun little side fact for you guys, you're going to get some statistics, which is something I'm not usually good at. And so
Yeah.
we have the L, which shows up about 96.6% of the time. You have the O, no surprise, is 99.7%. You have the N, which shows up about 96.3%. You have your E, which is the lowest one, kind of no surprise, but also a little bit,
Well,
is 89.2%. You have your R for 99.2%. And then coming second to last is the S for the 92.7%.
okay. Okay, and just to make sure I get this straight, it's talking about like comparatively based on the loner words. It's like how often when they end when they end the word they're masculine, or is this like how they're used when they loan? Or
Yeah, so it's like when they end the word, it's masculine.
okay, and they compare it with like how much they have the versus the feminine, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Just wanted to make sure. I will say that actually if that's the case, it doesn't surprise me that E is that way because E is probably the closest thing that Spanish has to the a gender neutral vowel.
Yeah, probably. But then something I also didn't see is that the feminine nouns also have percentages.
Yeah, let's see 'em.
So, what it lists as feminine endings is, of course, straight up A, la familia, D, like straight up D, la autoridad, the sion ending, so C-I-O with O with the accent N,
Yep.
so like la expiación, la salvación, things like that.
The
There's
atonement or
also,
in the salvation.
yep, and then there's the SIO accent N, so like la misión.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you've heard this word, but there's the ending UMBRE,
UMBRE.
la mansedumbre.
Oh, like the diciembre?
Yeah,
Something like that.
something like that. Diciembre,
Yeah.
yeah. Or is it diciembro?
I don't remember.
Because there's like noviembro, there's octobro, there's septiembro.
You might be right. I might have to look it up.
Someone in
Give
the
me one
comment
sec.
section tells us which one of us is right.
I can just look it up real quick.
Look it up. Yeah, look it up while I look up these statistics. Because actually, they're right here. Ooh.
Oh, I was right. It's septiembre, octubre,
So I was wrong.
noviembre, and diciembre.
So
Yeah.
I was wrong yet again.
Yeah. I would again.
This is just like when I thought Sank was, you know, when it
It's ended
was.
in QUE, and
Yeah.
there was nothing that Q ended.
I,
But nope. It sunk ends in a Q.
the good news is I still have not had anybody come after me about that. But I know the time is coming. The
One
time
day,
is
man. One
drawing
day.
near.
Mm-hmm.
So now here's a percentage. Here's a percentage ratings about these endings. Oh, I missed an ending actually.
Oh, what
So
was it?
we have SIS or ITIS. So like la diagnosis or what is my cat doing?
I
Oh,
mean, I don't know. I can't see him.
sorry. My cat's like banging on the window, pawing at the window. She's also attacking leaves at the window. And I heard like this big crash at my window. And all I'm trying to do is like look up these endings, and suddenly I hear this big crash. I'm like, what in the world?
Your cat's just doing your own. Her own thing.
She is. She is.
Yep.
Man, already some interesting moments in this episode, and not even 20 minutes in.
Yep.
Like, how eventful for our first specific discussion.
Yeah. Basically.
So now, hopefully, I don't get any more interruptions from here. It's
Yep.
the percentages as far as the comparison between words that end with these endings. So the a ending has about a 98.9% chance of
Mhm.
being feminine. The D ending, or like dad, as the example here to kind of help facilitate that a little bit more,
Mhm.
is a flat 97%. So
Yep.
one of the first times we're seeing a flat percentage here. Both of the sions, both the C and the SIO accent N, both of those are very easily a 100%. They're going to be feminine, which to
Mhm.
me is no surprise.
Yep.
You have the umbre, which is 96 point, like just a flat 96%.
Mhm.
And then the SIS and ITIS is a 99.2%.
Hmm.
So we got some interesting ones here.
Yeah. That is interesting.
Interesting statistics there for us.
So yeah, if you want a good general rule of thumb, that is a general good rule of thumb. Look for those things. If there's an exception, just ask somebody and they'll tell you. I do have a couple more exceptions I do want to talk about.
Go for it.
There's El Agua. I think I think with that one, it might have, that's the only exception I can really think of. The
Well, I mean,
but
there's also El Profeta.
El Profeta.
El Profeta. Yeah, that's one of the
Oh
other
yeah, yeah, yeah.
exceptions.
Yeah. Oh, and El Artista.
Yeah, that was the other thing I just kind of like glanced at in that fact sheet is that the masculine or feminine form of like the professions like artista and whatnot. That's all
Mm-hmm.
based on the article you slap at the beginning. So if you're saying el
Yep.
artista, you're talking about a male artist, but if you're saying la artista, it's a female artist.
Yeah. And and like
Oh,
obviously you said like El Profeta and there's also El Papa, which is not potato, but the Pope.
yep, yeah. now it is now it is pretty close to potato in Portuguese, but not potato in Spanish.
Yep.
And then as far as like feminine goes, you do have la mano, which can go a
Oh, man.
whole different way than
Yep.
just el agua or anything like that because of the fact that it does end with the o at the end.
Yep.
And in Portuguese, it's not that bad of a deal because it is literally just mal in Portuguese.
Mao.
Already has a feminine ending in Portuguese. So it's pretty easy to tell that that's a feminine noun. Whereas
Yep.
in Spanish, it's not so easy because it has that masculine ending, the o. So it's very interesting when you're able to remember, oh, in Portuguese, hand is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
But then switch over to Spanish and you got la mano. And then you get some of those confused guys who are like, I thought it was masculine. It has the O ending. And I'm like, oh, you thought. And and push comes to shove. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. And I did want to quickly like go back to Agua for a second. I think from what I've heard is that one of the main reasons why that one's like masculine is that they didn't want to put like l- law in front of it because like they didn't want it to run close to the A or something. I don't. It could just be something I heard on the grapevine. Probably not something I that's actually like said, but I don't know.
I was about to get really excited because then that means comment section can now hound you for a moment.
Yeah, yeah,
But
but
I'm already
don't
like
worry. I,
but I'm already in like 2 episodes where I'm getting hounded on. So
yep,
I think I'm in a worse spot than you are.
yep. But who knows? Who knows? I could be wrong on that. Like El Agua, that's definitely something in that it is. I think you know what? Yeah, I think I am wrong. I think it's because there is like La Aplicación that starts with an A. Yeah.
Yeah?
So I corrected myself. I corrected myself. You didn't
Dang
have
it, he
to
saved
say it.
himself.
I saved myself.
Dang it. I'm still in a worse position.
Ha ha.
Dang it.
So yeah.
So that was the Spanish side of things. So I hope that answers that question for my friend whenever she gets around to listening to this episode. But
Hmm.
now I'm thinking about like, we take the languages like Italian or French, where those articles could be contracted into the noun.
Yep.
So it's like you still have the masculine or feminine nouns, but you don't just have the le or la in French.
Yep.
Now you just have a straight up L apostrophe and then whatever the rest of the
Mm.
word is.
Yeah, you have yeah. And you but on the bright side, you don't have to worry about the masculine or feminine when you go into the plural. It's just because it's all just le,
Maybe? I don't know.
maybe.
I have my thoughts about it because there have been times when I've had to change up how things are said for the sake of a
Really?
masculine or feminine.
I don't remember that. Most things that I've been taught, like general French, just says like if it's plural, it's all just le. Maybe there's like a couple, maybe exceptions, but generally I don't. I haven't heard
That's
anything
usually
that changes.
true. That is true. My
Yeah.
brain is not to say my brain is pounding, but my gears are turning a little bit, thinking a little bit more about, that thought of the contracted articles and what makes something masculine or feminine, or if there's such a thing as a gender neutral article in French or Italian. Because, like,
Mm-hmm.
if we go back to the example of the application side of things for French, l'application,
Mm-hmm.
that article is combined with that word. It's contracted.
Yep.
So it's like, how do we best decide, how do we best decide if that's a masculine or a feminine noun? Do we just take the same rules from other words that are masculine or
Mm-hmm.
feminine and use that to determine?
Yeah. I I think one thing that I actually eh, heard from a video once, I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was like Chase in French or something like that. I think it was a video on Instagram, but one thing that they suggested is to first like whatever noun you're confused about. Oh, it's like hmm, okay, this is a little bit less of what you're thinking about out there, but in
It
the
may
case
help
of
me and
like
someone else get their answers if they're thinking the same thing as me.
yeah, if a noun if you don't know the gender of a noun, to first pick a gender to call that, and then like use it and to like a native speaker, hopefully they're kind or some hopefully they're kind about it or something. And and just kind of and just kind of use it and then like I said, well it's actually supposed to be like they'll say something like it's supposed to be like whatever the article is, whatever the gender is, or something like that. Like obviously, it's a little bit hard with like the like L apostrophe where it's like formed into the word.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you use like the adjective afterward, and sometimes if you need to use like an adjective, sometimes that's where they you can catch it. Because that's kind of another thing that's really important about gender nouns
Hey, you're having a
is
hard
that
time too.
yep, gender nouns is adjectives are very much affected by it. At least in like the Romanized languages, the Romance languages.
Yeah,
I think a little bit in some of the other ones too, but
probably. I haven't looked into some of those yet. I would
yeah.
imagine German probably so.
Yeah, I think German does. It's been a while though.
Cuz I know cuz I know the masculine or feminine is more so determined by the ending of the word. So similar to, la artista in Spanish.
Hmm.
I know it's somewhat similar in German where it's
Yeah.
not just the article in the beginning, but it's also the ending of the word. So, like, as an example, this might not make complete sense because it's just an example. I think we clarified in the first episode that not all examples here on this podcast have to be logical, but
Yeah, we already did.
yeah,
Yeah,
we already did.
we already proved that. You can talk while you're asleep. You can say general words when you're sleeping.
Yeah, and so as like an example, we'll go back to let's let's not do artist. Let's go to actor for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So like der Schauspieler in German.
Mm-hmm.
That's masculine. But then we have die Schauspielerin, which is the feminine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it,
Yeah.
it could be another one of those those kind of things where, as you learn a language, learn what endings are also associated with it, just like the loner thing for Spanish.
Yep. And even like with French, one common thing that happens is that if you have a normally if it's like something that both genders can be like it's an adjective or a profession, normally the masculine version will have like the word without an e at the end, which can
Yeah.
definitely change, especially if it was silenced the last letter, unless it's one of the letters that we discussed in the last episode, or it's some weird exception. Um, or it is a oh, and then it will make the sound. But in the feminine version, they'll add the e at the end, which will normally allow that last letter, if it was silent before, actually has a sound now.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had those kind of moments.
Hmm.
Now, I haven't looked into Italian enough to be able to determine that. I still know the masculine and feminine articles for Italian,
Yeah.
but I haven't dived into it enough to really determine, the classifications of masculine and feminine nouns when it's contracted.
Yeah.
But I think
And
it all comes
if
back to what you heard about the adjectives, paying attention to that.
hmm yeah. And obviously, like, if like right now we don't know like certain things, like we maybe if we feel like we didn't do Italian justice in this episode, we could always just come back to this later if you guys want, if any of you guys think we need it or anything. But this is just kind of a good overview of what we think of from these. We've mainly touched on Spanish and French right now, and we'll probably touch on more in just a bit. But
Yeah,
if we, if we,
it's like one of
yeah, if
those.
we,
We're gonna expand on it. We're gonna expand on it.
yeah,
Those aren't gonna be the
feeling,
only things, but it's like generally we're trying to talk about the just in general how do we identify masculine, feminine words in different languages. Now I can't tell much for anybody who's learning Hawaiian. I am still learning that on my own. I
hmm
know what those articles are. Still trying to identify those words.
yep,
So if you are trying to learn Hawaiian and are trying to identify the masculine or feminine nouns, I am going to be hopeless for you at the moment
hmm
because I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
yeah,
But on the plus side, it should give you some universal pointers because likelihood even Hawaiian has some endings or some articles that are specific to nouns that are either masculine or feminine or even have specific. I mentioned endings before, right?
hmm I think you did.
I'm going to pretend like I did. So,
Yeah, I don't. If we didn't, we'll just look back on this video and say like, yeah, no, we forgot it.
yeah. Yeah, if I did happen to say it, I'm just going to rewind it multiple times and be like, I am such an idiot for forgetting that I said that 3 seconds earlier.
Hmm.
I tend to do that anyway when I'm editing these things. So, what else is new for me?
Yeah. Hey, we all make mistakes.
Yeah. But at least you haven't done anything that might get you hounded on by the comments section.
Yep. I was close,
Very
but I
close.
saved 'em.
You got close.
Yep. And if you make fun of me in the comments for that, know that I pointed it out first. You didn't do anything.
Hey, if that happens, at least I can die happy. Just a little bit.
Yep.
Just a little bit. But maybe that's something I should look into. If we ever return back to the subject of like masculine or feminine words in
Mhm.
different languages, maybe that's something I can study up on, especially where Hawaiian
Yeah.
is concerned.
And yeah. And maybe well, if we come back to this, maybe when I'm more knowledgeable on like some other languages like Swedish, maybe I'll look at some of the I like see if there's any of the other Norse languages that have some gender to them, even if it's just the common and the neuter like Swedish. I'll probably see. I'll probably see we'll probably see like that would be an interesting discussion because like obviously most
I could
people
see
will
that becoming
probably
an interesting one. I could see it
yeah.
becoming one.
Yeah, because most people know like masculine and feminine, but there's also like but there's also other ones like German has a neuter, a lot like Swedish also has a neuter. I don't know about Dutch. I haven't studied
I
that
haven't
much.
touched Dutch yet. I know I've got a friend who's getting ready to serve her mission speaking Dutch, but I
Oh,
myself have
nice.
not touched Dutch yet. I've been encouraged
Mm-hmm.
to. I have not taken the time to do so, but I know that at least in the time that I've studied this, maybe it's just a source that I looked at. Kinyarwanda has masculine and feminine also. Swahili doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Swahili doesn't have masculine or
Yep.
feminine, but Kinyarwanda does. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to get this straight before anybody else tells me Kinyarwanda and Swahili are different. All right? I've had so many people come up to me asking, is Kinyarwanda difficult? Yes. Why? Isn't it similar to Swahili? No, it is not. You take a look at two different words, and they are nowhere near the same.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of like Swahili and I haven't even touched Kinyarwanda, so I haven't so I'm not familiar. I can't really
Kinyarwanda
say
is not for
familiar.
the faint of heart. I will say that. Despite the fact that there's not many learning resources for it, it is not for the faint of heart because of how many conjugations there are. You thought Swahili was bad in the conjugation world.
Oh
Kinyarwanda is
dear.
something else.
Oh dear.
Because you don't just get like singular or plural conjugations, you get like singular, double, triple, quadruple, more than 10.
Dang.
Now, I may be
I know
exaggerating. But that's just what I last remember. You also get masculine or feminine. You also get near or far. You also get past, present, future.
hmm. I yeah, I know people who barely handle Spanish's conjugations. I don't think they're gonna they certainly are not going to handle that.
Kinyarwanda conjugations really just make Spanish conjugations look so easy. Like, I kid you not.
Yes.
And
So
and it's just
yeah.
and it's the same with Swahili conjugations. The moment you realize just the kind of conjugation Swahili has, it is just insane. It
Hmm.
it really makes me look back at like Spanish and Portuguese and be like, this stuff was easy.
Yeah.
Swahili's the difficult one. This stuff was easy.
Yeah. So if any of you guys are struggling with any like Spanish or Portuguese conjugations, Italian conjugations, German conjugations, just be glad. Just remember, it's not King you're wanted.
It's
You're
not Kinyarwanda, yeah. Remember that.
yep.
Now we need that little jingle from the more you know thing. So
Yeah.
now we just need that to kind of like finish off this episode with that kind of statements.
Yeah.
The big star, the big NBC logo at the end. Right after we just
Hmm.
said, just remember, if you're ever tired of Spanish and Portuguese, you just need to remember that it's not Kinyarwanda. Da 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 da. And then scene.
Yep.
So,
Perfect. Yep.
so there's a little discussion for today about
Yep.
masculine or feminine. This isn't as long as our pilot episode, probably because we didn't have as many rambles and we were actually focused on a topic. But we're also on a slight time constraint here.
Yeah.
So, but we just discussed what we could. The big thing we learned about today was not just endings, but if you want to know what's masculine or feminine, treat it like society. Don't judge a word by how it looks.
Yep. And just and if you're confused, just ask.
Yeah, just ask. Just like with someone you don't know, just ask.
Hmm.
Don't assume a word by its gender.
Yep.
I'm gonna withhold that joke for myself now. It's gonna I know it's gonna be public and that joke is gonna be out there, but I feel like the more I speak, the more I'm gonna dig myself into a deeper hole. I'm about to create a third moment in this whole episode where I'm just gonna get hounded.
Yeah, you might want to put down the shovel real quick.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's our discussion. There's our discussion. I'm not sure how much of our rambling actually helped, but hopefully it has. And yeah, with that, we hope to see you guys in the next episode. We'll see you next time.
Au revoir.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you have a suggestion for what you want us to discuss, please leave us a message either through our email or through social media. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope you sit with us again in the Language Learners Lounge.